Okay, so we're now recording our webinar. This is really useful, so don't worry if you forget anything, don't feel you've got to write lots of notes. We will be making this webinar available online. If you're a team leader, that makes it really easy for you to share with members of your team if they were not available today. So I'll now hand you over to our team manager, Hearts Flora.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. With it being our first webinar, we're just going to be mindful in terms of learning from how the process goes today. But again, the questions and answers side of things, please drop anything that we actually discuss into the actual chat box itself. I will try my best to answer all the questions. If I'm unable to do so during the actual webinar itself, the follow-up notes will have those answers, so that the questions answered. But in terms of VAL as a corporate organisation, they have been around for a number of years, in actual fact over 50 years, in terms of supporting the public sector and voluntary sector as well. VAL, in terms of its current situation, is forever evolving, but always bears in mind that we always put people, the local people, at heart. We are funded by the ESF, as mentioned by Amy earlier, the European Social Fund, and the National Lottery Fund, and have done so since 2016. And that's for the two projects that we actually have under VAL, and that's the Great Project and the Yes Project. And the Great Project is a sister project that we'll mention later on. Both projects, again, aim to support young people that are furthest away from the labour market. The Great Project also supports families, and again, we'll provide you with the eligibility criteria around how we can support at later points in the webinar. So just moving over to the slides. And next one, please. Meeting our team, with regards to our diverse and skilled team, we are based at Voluntary Action Leicestershire, which is in the heart of Leicester City. We're currently working from home due to the current pandemic that we're facing, but that doesn't mean that we're not able to support our participants. We're offering virtual support and some form of face-to-face support with the relevant measures in place. And again, looking at the government guidance, we're adapting and evolving every time we go along, you know, the weeks. It changes on a day-to-day basis, so we are evolving as we go along. Full details of the staff team will be provided in the follow-up notes, along with email addresses. So please don't worry about, you know, wanting to find out who's who. They have a diverse role in terms of what they do on the Yes projects, but we'll provide the contact details so that you're aware of who does what. In terms of the Yes projects, we're fortunate to have a brilliant partnership with a variety of delivery partners that are on screen now, and that includes the Princess Trust, Leicestershire Cares, Highfields Community Association, Softer Charts, Bangladesh Youth and Cultural Committee, and The Bridge. And again, in the webinar, you'll get the opportunity to hear the fantastic work that all our delivery partners do that makes the Yes project what it is. So I'm going to hand over back to Amy Cook now. But again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop it into the chat box. I will try my best to answer them as we go along. If we don't have the answer there and then, it will be in the follow-up notes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hart. So we're just going to start by outlining who we help and what we do. And then later on in the webinar, you'll be hearing from all of the delivery partners that you've just seen on screen. So our criteria is nice and simple. Who do we help? Young people who are aged 15 to 24 and are living in Leicester or Leicestershire. Young people who are categorised as NEET, which is not in any form of education, employment or training, or young people that we term as at risk of NEET. So if they are 15, they're registered potentially with a school, but they're not attending school, we can also help those young people. Now, you'll know your young people that you're working with the best. We do need them to have a willingness to participate in activities in order for them to achieve their full potential. They do need to be experiencing barriers to access education, training and employment opportunities. Okay, we're having a little slight delay in the slides. There we go. So we do work in a holistic way on the Yes project. So all of our young people that have come through the project so far, not any sort of one or two have experienced the same project, because we deliver it in a person-centered way that suits that young person's needs. We work in a 3-stage approach, which initially addresses the barriers that the young person has and helps them to overcome them. We then look at developing their skills and their confidence. And then actually the employability and education side of it comes right at the end, but we're with them every step of the way. There's no time limits on our project. We do always go for a person-centered action plan. So what that young person needs at that precise moment is what we're doing. And it's the young person's choice. So it's entirely voluntary what we do, and they are supported all the way through the project, one-to-one, by a key worker. So our 3-stage process, addressing and overcoming barriers. So see, these are some of the common barriers that we encounter when we meet our young people. What we do know is our project has been running over lockdown, and we feel these are increasing in commonality and number. So we are getting a lot of young people through with mental health issues, but also low confidence and motivation, especially when they're seeing a lot in the media about the future being incredibly bleak for them. Emerging housing, financial and family issues as well. So what we want to do with those young people is address and overcome their barriers, give them a level playing field in order to then work towards their goals. They'll then move on to stage 2, which I think is where all the fun and interesting stuff happens on our project. So they'll be developing lots of different skills and perhaps redressing things that they weren't able to achieve in previous education settings. This is their busiest time on the project, and this is where we really see them grow in confidence and motivation to work through stage 3, which is their goal. So we will take a young person all the way to their first day at work, their first day at college, or if they feel they want to leave us and start job seeking on their own, we will see them every step of the way. So the challenges we have in the new normal. So for our young people, they've been in the house for a long time, and they're actually quite anxious about leaving the home, using public transport, and actually going into a workplace or an education setting. We have many young people who do not have access to IT, Wi-Fi, or even able to use tools such as Zoom as we're using today, or they don't have any confidence to go on a video and be able to do activities. Within the economic landscape, and especially with the new guidelines that have come out this week, we know there's a decline in certain sector-based entry-level job opportunities that most of our young people may take advantage of as they move into the world of work. That is especially hit hard in retail and hospitality. We very much welcome the government initiative, which is the Kickstart scheme, 6 months paid work for our young people, and also a huge boost in apprenticeship vacancies. These are great. However, the young people that we're encountering are not necessarily work ready to take part. These schemes can also be open to postgraduates, which means it is certainly more of a competitive environment that we need to get our young people ready for. This year's GCSE, A-level and BTEC results, there were certainly some winners, but there were also some losers there. So some of our young people haven't been able to take the paths they would have done had they been able to sit their exams. Obviously, some of the challenges for our project are ones that you guys have probably encountered. We want to get back out there and help our young people, but we need to be safe. So we have to think about how we will carry out group work and one-to-one work safely. We do not like to take a one-size-fits-all approach to how we help our young people. We want to make sure they have the choice, but with that comes challenges of making sure that every avenue we take is safe. And we do anticipate, and we are already starting to see, an increased demand for our services. So our lockdown friendly approach is basically that young people can take 2 different ways to access our services, which is virtually, over the phone, and using things like Zoom. but also we will endeavour to do small group work and one-to-one appointments in the future in a COVID secure way. The way we've planned out our activities means that young people can switch between the two. So if we do go into a more strict lockdown, we can switch things to a virtual approach. If things loosen up a little bit going forward, we can switch back into the in-person approach. But either way, the young people are still moving to that outcome. So we're not going to stop. We're going to carry on and we're going to power through. So that is enough from me. I know it was a whistle-stop tour, but I'm now going to introduce you to our project data analyst, Nancy Freeman.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, everyone. So yes, I'm Nancy, and I am the data and impact analyst for the YES project. For about the next 5 minutes or so, I'll be giving you an outline of the young people that the project has worked with so far, and the outcomes that these young people achieve following their journeys on our project. There we go. I just move through the slides. Oh, sorry, everyone. I think it might just take a moment to come through. Here we go. So yes, if I just take you through this slide here. So since the project inception back in June 2016 up until March 2020, the project has supported 560 young people across Leicester and Leicestershire. And as you can see from the map here, predominantly we are working with young people who live in the city. Looking over this side here, of our 560 young people, we are working close to a 50-50 split between our male and female participants. And then just moving down to the bottom here, 37% of our participants from an ethnic minority background, and 24% having a disability or a limiting lifelong health condition. And then just to cover our employment status divide, so we currently report 57% of our young people from who are economically inactive, and 43% who are unemployed. And just briefly, by unemployed, we mean somebody who is entirely without work but is ready and actively seeking work, and economically inactive is somebody who, again, is without work, but someone who is not currently ready and not currently searching for work. Of the majority of our unemployed participants are long-term unemployed. They have on average been out of work for 14 months before joining the project, which is a considerable chunk of time, given that some of these young people have only been of working age for a few years. It's at this point I'd like to introduce you to Sam, who is here at the bottom of the screen. Sam's a former YES participant who was out of work for 8 years before joining the YES project. As we go through our presentation, you'll see Sam, just my few slides, sorry, you'll see Sam appear at the bottom of the screen. Oops, just gone ahead. Oh, sorry, there we go. Yeah, you'll see Sam just appear at the bottom of the screen. We featured his story in these slides just to demonstrate to you the young people that we work with, their various circumstances, and all the ways in which the YES project supports all of our participants on their various journeys. Just to note that we've changed Sam's name, but all of the, we'll change our participant's name to Sam, but everything else you will read about him is true. So just move on to the next slide. So yeah, as mentioned, the YES project set out to work with local young people who find themselves furthest from the labour market and most at risk of social exclusion. The issues and characteristics that you see outlined on the slide here are defined by the National Lottery Community Fund as indicators of disadvantage. Of our 560 participants worked with to date, 68% of those experience at least one of these issues or characteristics, and almost half of those young people experience more than one of these issues or characteristics. When Sam joined the project, he was lacking basic skills, living with a disability and in a jobless household. He was one of 42 of our young people who experienced at least 3 of the indicators above. I feel this slide should show. Ooh. So we hope this slide shows to you that we that through our partnership of different specialisms and tailored support that's also delivered through our key workers, that we can work with young people and accommodate working with young people who face varying and often multiple needs. So yeah, I think the slide has slightly got ahead of me, but that's okay. So not only do we support all of these young people in their current circumstances, but we work with them to change their circumstances, either by moving closer to the labour market, into the labour market, or into further educational training. So as you can see here, of the 131 young people who lacked basic skills on entry into the project, 87% of those young people have now exited with a result. 81 of our young people with a disability have now left the project, 80% of those young people into a result. 6 young people who entered the project homeless or affected by housing exclusion have now left into employment. One of these young people had been out of work for 2 years before joining us on the YES project. 10 young people with an offending history left the project. 7 of those, 70%, have now left with a result. And 91 young people from jobless households have exited with a result. 38 of these young people moving into work, so making a significant difference to their households. And then 27 of our young people who didn't have primary or lower secondary education on entering the project have now, so 23, sorry, have left with a result, and 5 of those into education. So for Sam, he was one of these participants who was living in a jobless household and with a disability, who lacked basic skills and entry into the project, who subsequently left with a result. And just on to, so all of these results here contribute to the project's overall results. So as you can see, since the project began, we have moved 160 young people, or supported 160 young people into employment, 105 into education and training, and 85 young people who have left the project independently and actively searching and applying for work. So that's 350 individual results, which equates to an 85% results rate performance. So in other words, 85% of our young people who have left the project have done so with a result. And so I'll just conclude my little section here with Sam. And Sam's story and him moving into work after 96 months of unemployment. So the project set out with a particular focus to support young people who are furthest from the labour market and most at risk of social exclusion. And we believe Sam's story is just one of many that demonstrates how YES has been able to support the young people that it really set out to support, and that we've been successful in supporting those young people to develop themselves, continue to progress and achieve and continue to progress as they move into adulthood. In the next section of the webinar, you'll learn more about how our project has adjusted to the new normal so that we can continue to be a catalyst for change for more young people. So at this point, I'll just move over, and yeah, Kerry and Joe from the Bridge will take over from here.
Hi, my name's Kerry Shapcott. I'm one of the intensive young person support worker here at the Bridge. I work alongside Joe Carter, who I'll introduce you to for the second part of our presentation. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we do and what kinds of young people that would often be referred to us. So the YES Project, the Bridge, we often support those who are sort of at stage one, where Amy went through earlier, the 3-stage process. We often fall at the beginning of a young person's journey, and our role is to basically help those young people overcome barriers who are the furthest away from education, employment or training. Some areas that we often would see and work with are those who maybe have mental or physical health disabilities of some kind, or maybe facing an issue of homelessness or being at risk of homeless, relationship breakdowns, or even confrontations and family difficulties at home through mediation. Quite often we would work with young people who are just, you know, maybe struggling with poor routine, low confidence, maybe their motivation levels are kind of holding them back from getting to where they want to be. And sometimes it may be that they're a young carer who needs a bit of support with accessing some support or benefit entitlement that they might be entitled to. So what we actually do is we would offer one-to-one intensive support to each young person that comes to us. It may be that we help them find suitable accommodation or prevent homelessness for them, help them access statutory services, such as just making sure that they, you know, sometimes they just need a little bit of hand holding to actually ring the GP, or maybe go along to an appointment, or maybe they haven't had anybody supporting them to make sure that they actually get that referral to CAMHS. Excuse me. We want to make sure that they, once they get to the point of having those services set up, that they can go along, because sometimes they just maybe suffer from anxiety and they don't want to leave the house or have the confidence that's actually going to get them to the appointment. So we'll go through with them and get them to the point where they'll actually attend those appointments and travel on transport if that's an issue for them. Help them build up their confidence, their routine, and work on their motivation through various different methods. Once we feel like those young people are ready to maybe progress, and they've got on top of their confidence and they're looking for that little bit more, then we can help them to access the other delivery partners that have previously been mentioned on the YES Project, to work on their personal development and skills. We are mediation trained, so we can help with relationship difficulties if that's something the young person wants to do. Work on improving their health and overall well-being. It is very person-centred, so it's very much about what that young person feels that they need. We'll sit down with that young person, do a very holistic assessment and put together a plan that they want to progress with and what they feel is most important for them. And we also offer support with making sure that they know what benefits they might be entitled to if they are. So we are all going through quite a difficult time at the minute with relation to COVID, and adjusting to very different ways of working. Basically, we've managed to keep all of our young people on board throughout COVID with the Bridge. We haven't had any disengagement. Some young people have related to it extremely well, and actually taught us a thing or two, to be fair. Basically what we're trying to do is we're still trying to keep contact online and remote where we possibly can, to try and minimise that direct contact until we're advised otherwise. We're doing this through telephone support sessions, online Zoom sessions, and sharing our screen. We've been delivering some workshops, more of a group setting, to make sure that we're not just delivering workshops around motivation and anxiety, etc., but we're also bringing those young people together where they feel like they're actually seeing other young people in the same situation, which I think they've found useful. but we can offer face-to-face appointments if it's deemed necessary. We're trying to do it as much as possible outdoors and with PPE, although the weather might throw a spanner in the works with that. But yeah, so the way we're working is we're trying to give the young person a choice as to what's the best way of working for them, and just move with the times, vary back and forward from working remotely to in-person support when needs must. Jo, my colleague on the YES project here at the Bridge, has got a bit of a case study to run through with you, so I'm going to mute so as Jo can talk.
Hi, I'm Jo. This is the case study. Charlotte, she said that we could share this with you guys because she was really happy with the support we gave her, and she wanted to share it so other young people would, really like to join the YES project as well. So we did Charlotte sign up over Zoom video call because she was quite happy to do that, which was great. So me and Kerry could actually see her as well, and we interacted quite well on that. So just a bit of a run through of what Charlotte's situation was. She lives at home with her family, and she cares for her 2 brothers with disabilities. She had to perform CPR on one of her brothers, which was obviously very frightening, but it's inspired her to become a paramedic. So she wanted to go to college to do her level 3 applied sciences. But she lacked in self-confidence and needed that extra support just to prepare her for the next stage of going to college. So Charlotte needed support with confidence building. So we managed to do that with a few sessions on Zooms and telephone, and she joined in with quite a few Zoom sessions with the other delivery partners. She managed her anxiety about the college and any fees that she had to pay and financial support, so we helped her through that, which I'll explain on the next slide. Accommodation options, because she did say while we were supporting her that she wanted to move house, so she had her own space. And she also wanted some interview skills, just in case she wanted to apply for any jobs alongside her college course with an up-to-date CV. So this is Charlotte with her Snapchat filter. She doesn't usually look like that. So we supported Charlotte through video and through phone calls. And I helped her apply for the housing register to get her own accommodation because she didn't know what to do or how to start that. So I talked her through that over the phone, and we had it on the screen, and we applied together. The same for universal credit. She wasn't actually getting universal credit. She was just getting the carer's allowance. So I talked to her how to go through that on the telephone as well as the screen while we talked through applying for the universal credit. So she had some financial support while she was at college. While she was with the YES project, we got her on a few courses with the other delivery partners. So one of those was the Princess Trust, was the 4-day keeping in touch course, which she really enjoyed. She wasn't so sure to begin with, but when she actually did it, she was really happy with it, and it built her confidence up as she went along. She didn't have a camera on at first, and then she had a camera on and she spoke. And then after that, she had some support after that keeping in touch course to build up a CV and any interview skills she needed. We also got her onto the Princess Trust again with the health and social care course, because that was along the lines of what she wanted to do at college as well, being a paramedic. So that was the best course for her to do. They also, at the end of that health and social care, offered speed interviews. So she had a few speed interviews on Zoom, and then she actually had a face-to-face one as well at a care home. And she felt really confident after that, which was brilliant. And then, as Kerry said, we did some sessions on building wellbeing and support. We did one called Ready Steady College, and we had a few participants on there that were starting college this September, maybe starting online, because of COVID. So they were a bit unaware of what the college looked like and what they could access. So we talked her through what she could do at the college by accessing the wellbeing support there. So the achievements after Charlotte's time with the YES project is that she gained a lot of confidence through the different Zoom sessions and chatting to different people. She developed online skills using Zoom and Microsoft Teams, which some of the sessions were delivered on. She had a lot of interview skills online and in person, which she'd never had before. And she got a lot of confidence from that because she had a really good outcome. Her CV was up to date and reflected her achievements and what she'd done on the YES project as well. And she's now actually started level 3 applied science on her journey to be a paramedic at Leicester College. She's applying for the Universal Credit, which is all going through nicely now. And she's on the housing register looking for her own property. So we're really pleased with our little case study. She's done brilliantly. Okay, so that's our details on there. And then I will be passing over to Amy Cook on behalf of Jim Jackson for Soft Touch Arts.
Thanks so much, Joe and Kerry. So Soft Touch Arts, you may know very well if you ever take a stroll up New Walk towards the museum, which is a wonderful facility, and we're very happy to have Soft Touch Arts as part of the YES project. Helping many disadvantaged people for a long time. I was 4 years old when this place was established, so it's been around quite a long time. And using creativity and art in its many forms to help people to develop their creative skills, but also for mental health and well-being and confidence, and actually just getting out and meeting people who have very similar interests to yourself. Front and centre there, you'll see Jim, who I'm speaking on behalf of today, who helps young people to explore their different art skills and develop them. And he does really challenge them and push them to achieve their potential. At the minute, so bit of an issue really with a building such as Soft Touch Arts, because people are usually sharing equipment and materials, they're going into the recording booths, which isn't very COVID friendly. Now the building has started to open up and is making the most of the space that it has, but we do also have some doorstep arts packs that young people can access. So effectively, we're delivering them to their doorstep. And it's very high quality arts packs. So these are not things you might buy someone for their birthday with some crayons in or anything like that. High quality materials, sketching, clay modelling, textiles, you name it, we can help with it. And the young people can access some support through Zoom on a Friday and start to develop different art skills that they may have. But if they are sitting at home doing nothing and they're feeling a little bit bored or down, this is something that they can really engage with. They can get mentoring advice as well. And there's still a chance for young people to show off their work and exhibit it to other people. What we hope in the future is they'll then take a stroll up or down New Walk and start engaging in person as it's safe to do so. Soft Touch Arts also offer their mentoring program. Here you can see one of our former participants with his mentor. So these are business volunteers from around the local area. So they know Leicester and they know Leicestershire. And they can coach and mentor and goal set our individuals to work towards what they want to do. And they have a regular relationship that they arrange mutually. And a lot of our participants get so much out of this because they feel that they've got somebody investing in them. Soft Touch Arts sits within our stage 1 personal development. So we often encourage young people to go here to start helping overcome these barriers. But with the mentoring and the possibility of doing an arts award, which is a recognised qualification, it does bleed slightly into our stage 2 as well. So we do get a lot of young people who will stay with Soft Touch Arts throughout their YES journey. So that is a whistle-stop tour from me today. I'm now going to hand you over to Faye, who is our key worker for the YES Media programme.
Thanks, Amy. I hope people can see me. So yes, I'm a key worker for the YES Media. So these are some lovely people that I work with. On the left is you've got Norman and then Fatima, and what they do is support me by actually going out and about and finding and talking to young people about Yes Media, and so that we can get them started with the programme. And on the right, you can see Dwight, who actually runs the Yes Media programme. And as you can see, he's there in the studio. So yeah, they're a really great bunch of people to work with. This slide is, you can have a read through what is on offer at the Yes Media programme, but whilst you're having a read through that, I'm just going to talk a bit more about some other aspects of the programme, because I think one of the important things to get across, actually it's probably with all our partners actually, but it's just like the friendly, supportive and approachable nature of the staff at Highfields and also Yes Media. Young people have said, you know, just how they're made to feel welcome and supported, and you know, when they're going there for the first time, it's, you know, a lot of the young people we work with can feel anxious, so having the staff there that are so helpful and friendly makes that transition a lot easier. So I think that's really important to get across, and also it's an informal learning experience as well for the young people. So again, aimed at possibly young people that have not really enjoyed the formal side of education. It's very hands-on, very experiential, practical learning, which can be great for a lot of the participants that we work with. The sessions actually all take place in a fully functioning modern music studio as well. So young people do get the opportunity to experience that, which I think is really important. There are PCs around as well, so it's full of PCs, musical equipment and all these gadgets, which I know nothing about. It looks very impressive. And what also Dwight does as well is that when a new group starts, he will actually find out from them, and also with my support as well, kind of like the skills and experience that the young people have. And so some may have quite a bit of experience and some may have none, and that's absolutely fine. They don't need to have previous media experience to go on the programme. All we'd ask really is that they just are willing to have a go at stuff, because we appreciate that people want to, you know, try things, and that's what the Yes Project is all about. It's giving young people new opportunities to see, you know, if any of these might, you know, fire them up and get them passionate and take them forward. So so he works, yeah, to find out what their skills, current skills are, and what their sort of passions are, and then they work on a project together about that. So at the moment there is actually a group running. It is the first face-to-face group that they've had running since lockdown. So the groups are much smaller. There's only 4 in the group, which I think again is actually a bonus, because a lot of the young people that we work with don't particularly like working in big groups. So it does really give them an opportunity to get to know each other and, you know, develop communication skills and social skills and all of that. So we feel that that's really important. And so the group is in week 2 at the minute, and what they're working on at the moment is a short video. So, and they've already started scripts, doing storyboards, and I think they've actually already done some filming. So it's brilliant. They sound really enthusiastic about doing all of that. It will include elements such as marketing and graphic design as well. And also I think Fatima and Norman have taken some feedback for some young people when they're out and about, that young people are also wanting some sort of to learn about virtual programs and things like that to get them more employable. So I think that's something that we're going to be looking at with Dwight as well. We also, at the moment, it would have to be pre-booked and looked at in regards to health and safety around COVID. But before lockdown, we were really encouraging young people to come and have a look at the centre and come to the music studio, speak to Dwight, to actually see, well, kind of try before you buy, see what they thought of it, because we really feel that, you know, young people need to get to see where they might be going rather than just sign up to something and be expected to enjoy it. So we will still try and do that for young people, but obviously have to bear in mind that we have to be COVID safe. So it's an 8-week programme. We are looking for to get some referrals for our next programme that starts in about 6 or 7 weeks. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to pass you over to Colette, who is going to talk about the Be Me group. So hopefully she'll come on the screen in a second. Thanks.
Thanks, Faye. Hi, everyone. So, hi. Like Faye said, my name's Colette Bird. I'm from the centralised team of the Yes Project. I'm also one of the lead mentors of our new project, Be Me. This is alongside my colleague Faye, who you've just heard speak a moment ago. So just to say, I'm just going to give you an overview, some brief details of our group, but please do get in touch with myself or Faye anytime. We'll happily give you more details. And we're also at the end able to answer any questions you have then. So what is Be Me? So Be Me is a group primarily focused on creating experiences and opportunities for our family of Yes participants. This is through whatever delivery partner they're accessing. This may be Soft Touch Arts or BYCS. The main focus of the group is to give them an experiences, enhance and complement their journey, but at the same time we want to give them a safe space for self-awareness and really allow them that opportunity to get to understand themselves. I know I don't need to sort of tell you guys, I know you understand that for our young people, really knowing who they are, what their beliefs are, what their interests are, is key to their long-term goals, whatever stage they're at, whether this is at the, ready to get a job or the furthest from the labour market. We know that understanding makes a great difference. So something else I wanted to just share was we've actually got one of our young people on our group who is actually now delivering the marketing for our group, which gives another example of things that our young people can get involved in. And he actually said he really appreciates the direction of the group, because without self-esteem and motivation, you can't achieve your goals anyway. And that's exactly where Be Me comes in. He said that exactly how we felt. So Be Me is looking at barriers, overcoming those barriers, working at the grassroots of development to achieve those long-term goals. So if we look at sort of the focus and the group's focus, if you look, there's 4 elements that the group covers, with the centre core element being on self-awareness and fun. Again, self-awareness and fun, is so important just to give them the motivation to learn. Like I've said earlier, that is our key sort of goal with the group. If we also look at the element in regards to inspiring and making change, we all know at the moment how powerless our young people feel. We all feel with the pandemic. So we can't change that. We can't change, what Boris's decisions are and what's happening with the pandemic. But with the things that we'll put in place for our young people, we can look at showing them that with their voice, experience, that they can make a change and they can make a difference, just like Black Lives Matter has, and lots of other various things. We had actually a young person who wasn't interested in the environment at all, and then listened to a guest speaker talking about environment, and that just lit a spark in him, and he was really fired up, and passionate about the environment then. And that's what we want to create as well. We know a lot of them know what they're interested in and passionate about, but some don't. And some may know that they're passionate about, but they may be passionate about other things as well. So it's really honing in on that and helping them to sort of develop those skills and that self-awareness. If we also look at The social element, again, it's not rocket science, but communication skills, interaction with each others. This is a key element to the group. And you know, it just makes a difference in and outside of employment. So that will be a big area we'll be looking at. That will also be with social activities that we have put in place, whether that's virtually or you know, face to face, but hopefully going forward it will be a lot face to face. So we have a lot of things planned that way. Also, if we look at life skills, we will be able, our group will be able to access personal development workshops, which they are currently during this pandemic accessing at the moment, with Richmond Fellowship, with wellbeing workshops. So they'll be able to access that as well. We'll also be looking at things like nutrition, working style, know your working style at work. For example, we know if we're visual, if we're auditory, but it's understanding ourselves in and out of the workplace. And I don't think these things always get addressed. So really understanding that can make a real difference to sort of their success at work. Just to give an example, we had a young person who came to me and said, you know, they've got no GCSEs at schools. They said they'd done really badly. You could see sort of the shame on her face. And yet she was such a talented individual, and she had so much going for her, and she was passionate about business skills. So one thing we also want to look at is helping our young people to understand there are different types of intelligences, and just honing in on those and really seeing, you know, believing in themselves, not just because of what they've achieved at school or haven't achieved, but where they are now, and you know, the different types of intelligence. So it's a really key area we want to focus on. Also, just want to say, just coming back slightly, because I forgot to mention in regards to inspiration and change, we have actually got an education parliament officer from East Midlands coming in November and December to actually talk to our young people. He's so inspiring. And like I say, even if if our young people aren't interested in Parliament, it's about giving them that belief and that confidence and helping them empower and seeing that, yes, they can't control things at the moment, but there are other aspects they can control and make a difference. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that in November and December. The last thing I want to point out, again, there's so much I can say about this group, but I know we only have a few minutes. So the last thing I want to point out is, although our goal isn't focused on employability, organically that's what the group achieves. It just goes hand in hand with all the different skills and all the different elements. We will have guest speakers who will be coming in talking about volunteering, which we know how key that is. We know some young people hate it, and we know some people are open to it, but we know the difference that can make. So it will be a group that is focused on long-term goals as well. So yeah, we're really excited about this group, and it will be starting in mid-October. So again, you can ask myself or Faye any questions at the end, and we'll happily give you those details. All right, so thanks for your time, and I'm just gonna pass you on to BYCS. Oh, sorry. Bear with me, I'm just gonna get myself off the screen. Oh. Hi. Sorry, I'm just
Hello, everyone.
Are you there, Abdullah? Sorry, Abdullah.
Yes, no worries. Hello, everyone. My name is Abdullah, and I work at Bangladesh Youth and Cultural Committee, and I'm an apprentice administrator. So our YES offer, we offer functional skills from the levels of pre-entry all the way to level 2 in literacy, numeracy, and ICT. We also provide GCSE qualifications in English, Maths, Italian, and Bangla language as well. As well as education courses, we even provide vocational qualifications in courses such as food safety and catering, health and safety in the workplace, and emergency first aid. And we also provide work experience. So we do that through volunteering at our center, and we can even help participants gain volunteer work experience from other organizations as well. We also help our participants by giving them careers advice and guidance, and we help them with the guide to further education and training, And we also support them if they need any help with CVs. So creating a CV, reviewing and updating their CV, just so it's tailored to their the job they are applying for. And we also provide help on advice on the Kickstart scheme, which has just newly been introduced by the government. So COVID-19, BYCS has been continuing to support young people to study for functional skills. However, there have been barriers and difficulties which have been presented owing to the need of the young people. So High Fears, as you know, has been a highly infection rate, mainly because of densely populated areas, living in overcrowded homes because of the key workers and low paid manual work in high risk occupations. And there has been a lot of lack of IT equipment, and Wi-Fi meant that some of our students were unable to take part in their learning. And BAME communities were at a higher risk of COVID-19, and there was also a necessity to shield for other family members. So some of our challenges were that the students were studying via paper and telephone support, which limited the progression and made translation services difficult to manage. We also had to increase the work to support the young people improve their GCSE grades, which were not as high as expected. There was an additional workload on some of our tutors as they had to mark the GCSEs in line with the new government guidelines. We were working with students who are not entered for GCSEs this year, and we are planning and developing the virtual learning and services to meet the current trends. So what the future looks like. We are expecting that there will be an increased demand for the services we provide. There will be more remote deliveries required. Our class sizes will have to be reduced, so less participants and less students in one classroom at a time. We will have to increase the social distancing measures, and we will have to stagger the staff and class timetables. However, the plus side is that there will be new government job creation initiative for 16 to 24-year-olds. We will be promoting live job vacancies on our job board. We will use the participant expenses budget to deliver vocational qualifications, which are in discussion. And we are planning to deliver driving theory courses, which will be explored with VAL for those who require their own transport for jobs and building their confidence. And lastly, good news. In 2020, BYCS has managed to achieve 23 GCSEs ranging from the grades of 4 to 9. So these are our contact details if anyone wants to get in touch with us. That's it from us, and I will now be transferring over to Ross and Simran from Leicestershire Cares.
Thank you very much, Abdullah. Yeah, so my name's Ross. I work at Leicestershire Cares, and my colleague Simran is here as well. We're just going to go through a little bit of information. Right, so just briefly, if you've not heard of Leicestershire Cares, we're a small local charity that specialises in bringing business to the community. So here's an example of some of the different groups of people we work with. Obviously on Yes, we work with Neat Young People, but for example, we've got projects that work with ex-offenders, and what those guys do is we find work placements for them, we find them work. We've got education projects who we have business volunteers that go into the schools and offer interview techniques and help with primary school English and maths and that type of thing as well. And I could sit here all day talking about all the other projects that we've got there, but we'll focus on Yes. So, okay, so earlier on in the year, we were able to secure some new funding on the project, which has enabled us to offer this 6-week employability program. So initially, throughout the summer, we've been planning this program, and it was set to be run in person, but obviously with current restrictions, we have been able to put it all online. We're actually into the 2nd week now of the first program, and it's been successful so far. As you can see from the bit of the program we've got planned, you can see the different steps. So starting off, introduction to CVs, all the way up to how to behave when you actually get that job. These sessions have already been supported by some of our business volunteers. We've got volunteers looking at the young person's CVs. We've got about 4 people from different businesses across Leicester and Leicestershire booked in for a speedy speakers session. So they'll give our young people information about their own job, their own career, and how they got to that to try and inspire our young people. and we've got the same amount of business volunteers booked in to support with some mock interviews later on in the programme as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Simran. So this provision pretty much offers everything that was mentioned in the previous slide, but delivery tends to be on a one-to-one basis and is quite ad hoc. So I'll work with a young person individually, help them create a CV, search and apply for jobs or college or university courses, help them increase their interview skills and so on. But there are opportunities to undertake some group work. So every Wednesday afternoon is Get Stuff Done, which is online. Essentially, this is just a drop-in session for young people to receive help from myself and my colleagues around employment, education and training. Also, during the pandemic, we delivered a couple of employability webinars, which were facilitated by our business members. The aim of these were to give participants a deeper and I guess a more expert insight into different areas of employability and help prepare them for what recruitment and the workplace might look like post-COVID.
Yeah, so as mentioned in previous slide, we managed to secure some funding earlier in the year, and that's also allowed us to partner up with a local college to offer functional skills, maths and English for some young people as well, which is something that we find a lot of the young people we sign up to the project struggle at the application process of a lot of jobs because they don't have the English and maths skills required. So, and thankfully as well, the college that we've partnered up with, we are able to set these young people up doing the courses virtually as well, getting support from ourselves and getting support from the tutors. So that flexible approach will mean that we'll be able to continue working and putting young people through these courses, even though they might not be able to actually go in and attend the classes in person.
So we're really proud of the fact that we moved all our support online fairly quickly. We've had to be quite creative and agile in the way that we are developing our support. So on this slide are all the things that we've been busy delivering and are continuing to deliver. Wherever possible, we try to make use of our business links as much as we can. So I just want to highlight, we've had the Getting to Grips with Interviews webinar by HR manager Everard. We've also had Rock Kitchen Harris deliver a using LinkedIn for your job search webinar, and a lot of our business volunteers have conducted mock interviews for our young people. As part of Leicestershire Cares, participants also have access to the workshops and activities that the other youth projects that Leicestershire Cares deliver. So the one that is most popular is Quarantine Cooks, and this is run for 10 weeks, and each week a young person led a cooking session. So the first photo you can see is just some of the things that we've made. Following on from the success of this, we're now launching Fakeaways, which the first session is tomorrow, and a professional chef is teaching young people how to create their takeaways at home much healthier and cheaper. So this is Leicestershire Cares in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please pop it in the chat. Also check out our website and our social media, and I'm going to pass you over to Jess from the Prince's Trust. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name's Jess and I work for the Prince's Trust. I'm just going to talk to you about what the Prince's Trust offers and how we've kind of adapted to the COVID-19 situation. So just a little bit about who we are at the Prince's Trust. So just a bit of background story and a bit of history. In 1976, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales used £7,400 of his Navy severance pay, and that was to fund several community initiatives. And it was originally with a focus on self-employment for young people. So we originally started out helping young people to build their own businesses. However, since then, the Prince's Trust has become one of the UK's leading youth charities, and we offer support for young people to get them into a positive outcome, whether that be training, volunteering, education or employment. And we do that through a range of different programmes, from personal development to mentors, things like that. And I'll talk to you about our core programmes in a second. So we support young people that are as young as 11 up to the age of 30, and those that are unemployed or those struggling at school at risk of exclusion. So our core programmes, so I've colour coordinated them for you here to set them out into different subjects. So the pink ones, Achieve and Mosaic, they're our education run programmes. So they're run in schools, and they're for young people who are maybe at risk of exclusion or struggling a little bit at school, or they just need a bit of a confidence boost and a bit of inspiration. So our Achieve programme is kind of a separate curriculum for the young people, and we partner up with schools, and we train one of the members of staff at the schools to run this separate curriculum with a qualification attached to it, and that's for young people who might be struggling a little bit at schools. Our Mosaic programme, it's a really new programme, this one, also run in schools. This is where we go into schools and we train volunteers to go in and act as a mentor for the young people. And it's really to raise their aspirations and their confidence. Then moving on into the green sections, these are our personal development programs. Those are for young people who really just need to build their confidence and motivation and their soft skills to be able to go out into the working world and try and find employment or a different outcome. So it's for those young people who are further from the job market. The personal development programs range anything from a week-long program up to 12 weeks, and it's all based around personal development. The middle programme that says Fairbridge, we're actually just in the middle of transitioning that over to be called Explore. So that if you ever go onto our website and see the Explore programme, that's what Fairbridge is coming under now. And then lastly, the blue sections are our employability programmes for young people who are ready to go out into the working world. So our enterprise programme is for young people who are looking to build their own business and become self-employed. And we offer mentoring, funding, grants, loans. It's really, really intensive support for young people who want to start their own business but aren't too sure where to start. Our Get Into programmes are work experience programmes. So we'll partner up with employers such as M&S or Boots or TK Maxx in different sectors, and they'll take the young people on for work experience with the hope that after the experience they can move into an outcome, a job. So a TK Maxx programme that I ran, we had young people move into permanent employment with them, and M&S offer temporary contracts with them as well. So it's a fantastic programme for helping young people move into an outcome. And this is why we're kind of at the end of the project where young people are looking to move into employment. Our development awards, this one is a really fantastic programme, and I've seen some of the chat function. Lorna mentioned a question about accessing a device. So the development award is basically a pot of money that the Prince's Trust has, and that's there for young people who are facing a barrier. So if they've managed to find themselves an outcome of some sort, so say they've gone and got themselves a job, but they can't afford their first month of travel, or they can't afford the equipment, we will fund that equipment or that travel for them. So we do course fees, travel, interview clothes. We also, in this current climate, we've been funding laptops for young people who are trying to job search online or access webinars and things. So Development Awards is there to remove that barrier for young people who are facing problem with funding. So always worth getting in touch if that young person is facing a barrier with funding. So yeah, laptops is something we can fund. I'm ready for the next one, Amy. So COVID-19, how we've responded to that. So we want you to know we are still here. Yes, we've moved everything online as best as we can. So we do have a support hub on our website, and that just explains how we've adapted to the current climate. And we've put a jobs board online on our website, so employers will go onto our website and upload their vacancies in different regions all around the country. So there's jobs going online all the time for that. We've also developed our local programs to keep in touch with our young people. So our Explore program is a personal development program that's running online, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second on the next slide. I've already told you about Development Awards, Enterprise for young people who are looking to build their own business, and we're also running a Get Started with Health and Social Care. So that's for young people who are looking to move into the health and social care sector or the NHS. And it really supports young people with mentoring, and as Joe from The Bridge was talking about, with interview skills and things like that. So it's really intensive support for young people looking to move into that sector. So just a little bit about our Explore Online programme. This is something that I run online, something that I've adapted for young people as a personal development programme. It's actually starting next week on Monday. So it's a 4-day virtual programme and it's run via Microsoft Teams, the online platform. The sessions run for just an hour each day, maximum an hour and a half, just to engage young people as much as we can. The first session we do icebreakers and getting to know you activities just to break the ice with the young people as we'll be spending the week together. Just a really fun and interactive session, that one. The second session we do is mental health and well-being, obviously a really important topic, and it's been really well received by the young people. Feedback has shown they've said, I don't feel so alone anymore. It's good to know that other young people are feeling the same, and it just gives them some tips and coping mechanisms through the current climate. Another session we cover, the third one, is budgeting and finances. Not something we all really important subject for young people to know about, you know, how you can slip into debt and things like that. It's just some advice and guidance about budgeting and finances and things to be aware of. And again, that's been really well received by the young people as well, because it's not always covered. And lastly, employability. That's the fourth session, and I just cover CVs, cover letters, interview skills, that type of thing. And it just sets the young people up nicely to move over then into our one-to-one sessions. If they want to access a one-to-one with myself, I'll just log on to Microsoft Teams, share my screen and build a CV with them, do a mock interview, and then I've even referred young people over to Ross's Leicestershire Cares 6-week employability programme as well for more intensive support. So it all links in together. And yeah, the young people, it's been really well received, this Explore Online programme. So if you've got any referrals, then I'll give you my contact details for that for next week. So just a little snapshot of what a young person fed back to me off the last programme, the Explore Online programme. They said they were really grateful for the Prince's Trust. I was getting nowhere with my life and with being at college, and a mental health nurse mentioned Prince's Trust to me as she had access to Prince's Trust support. So someone who had originally been through the Prince's Trust and is now older and in employment herself recommended it to her. This young person said asking Prince's Trust for help was one of the best things I've done, has made me feel so much more confident and motivated. And she says she really didn't want the online sessions to end because she'd enjoyed it so much. So really great feedback from that. I will post my details in the chat after, so you can refer anyone into if you wanted to. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I didn't bore you. I'm now going to pass on to Krishna, who's going to talk to you about the referral and triage process. Thanks.
Thank you, Jess, for that. I'm Krishna Patel, and I'm the Yes Project Engagement Officer. Now you've heard about our wonderful project. How do you as a stakeholder refer to our project? So I've just got a quick video, and the way you refer is you go to the, I'll wait for the For Professionals tab, and then you make a referral. And then who would you like to refer as a stakeholder? You want to refer a young person, and then you go through the barriers below and you list the barriers that they are experiencing in finding work and the goals that they want to achieve on their Yes journey. Then you fill in their your contact details. Yeah, and then scroll down to the bottom, and how do you want to be contacted? And you can tick all 3 boxes if you wish. Then you send your message, and that's it, it's sent. And then, can we have the next slide, please? And then what happens? It's triage time, as I like to call it. So we firstly set up a meeting with the young person. It's predominantly a one-to-one chat, and it's set up by our administrator, and we will have a chat with them basically to find out what their career aspirations are, the young person's career aspirations, and how we can best support them. Then we will call them. The team member will determine eligibility and suitability for the project. And we will decide which delivery partner and key worker is suitable to help in the first instance. So where will they begin their Yes journey? Who will they start off with first? We've heard from lots of delivery partners, but who will they start off with first? And then the young person will meet with their key worker and sign up to the project and begin their YES activities. And then we may contact you, the stakeholder or the referrer, to ask for written confirmation of NEET status. Okay, so keep in touch with us but via Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, where you can hear about YES project achievements, the latest YES news, and information about all our activities. All the referrals do go through the website, which is www.yesproject.org. And if you wish to be on our mailing list as an organisation, please let our comms officer know, which is Georgia Cox, and her email address is there as well. Okay. And me, lovely picture of me. I can attend your meetings and team meetings virtually for now, and to promote the project and just let your staff members know about the benefits of referring their client group, their participants to our project. And I can do that via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Okay, I just wanted to introduce you to our sister project, the GREAT project, and it's very similar to ours, and they help families that are not in employment. So it's very similar criteria to what we have as YES project. Now, I just wanted to, the 3 points, what we mean by family, I just wanted to go through those. So it's a parent with children living at home, a parent who has contact with their children of school age or below, or an adult living with parents or other family members. So they support all of these individuals in the family, and below that are their eligibility criteria. Theirs is over 18 and not currently in paid work. Okay, and they've sent us a short video of how to refer. So you go across to their contact, click that, and you put all the relevant details in this contact page, your name, your email, and they contact you via that. They do some fantastic work supporting members of families to gain sustainable work or training. They offer confidence building, health and well-being support, as well as workplace visits, to name but a few activities. So another great project for you to refer to. And I know that some of the stakeholders on this chat today do work with families as well as young people. And now I'd like to hand over to Hawks, please.
Thank you very much, Krish. I've just been answering a few questions privately or to everyone in the actual chat box itself. Hopefully that's provided with a few of the answers that people are looking for. However, what I'd like to do is invite the delivery partners that I've just presented to share your videos. And if any of the attendees would like to ask any questions in the chat box, we can direct those questions to the relevant persons. Okay, so we've just got one question with regards to great to see the YES Media doing well, adapting to COVID. I was on the YES Media program a few years ago, and it helped me to develop the skills. So this sounds as if it's somebody that has been involved in the YES project, which is great. So if everyone you know, has been involved, what we are looking at doing is obtaining as many case studies as possible for our comms officer to share that on our website. Our intention is, with the YES Media provision, is to actually upskill young people to essentially get them to support us and be involved in the YES projects to manage social media streams, get involved with vlogs in terms of their experience prior to getting involved in the project, during the project, and after the project. So, you know, the example that we've got there in terms of developing the skills, it gave them a platform to work at the BBC in Wimbledon, and afterwards to work in business development for brands such as Universal Pictures, Peppa Pig, and Gruff. Wow, that's really, really impressive and really, really nice to hear that. Hopefully I'm going to pronounce your name right, Tejas. It would be great if we could get yourself in touch with us to provide that kind of information, because that would be really good and inspiring to find out what Yes participants are currently doing now after they've left the project. It'd be really nice to touch base. So if you wouldn't mind, you know, please get in touch with ourselves, and we'll obviously provide you with the contact details to actually touch base with us. Are there any other questions that anyone from the attendees would like to ask our panel? Any other delivery partners that you have specific questions for? The silence is bliss. Hopefully that means that we've provided with enough information for the attendees to kind of know a little bit more about the Yes projects, and also our sister projects as well, the Great project. So if anyone that has attended thinks the Yes project isn't quite right for their clientele or participants, you also have the Great project as well. So please do let us know if you'd like further information, or for the Great project to contact you. Please let us know individually. I mean, if there are no other questions, we'd like to conclude the webinar now, and we do appreciate taking up your valuable time. But thank you very much for attending the webinar. We welcome any feedback and encourage you to kind of let us know what's worked well, what we could improve on. And again, for more information around the two projects, please contact us through our website. Yes project is www.yesproject.org, and the Great project is www.greatproject.org.uk. We've got a question for Jessica, actually. It's just come in. Could she get in touch with me with regards to resources for the Explore Online? And the name is leanne.brookin@leics.gov.uk. But that's fantastic. What I'll do now is I'm going to save the actual chat, so we've got that all together. Any of the questions that have come up, what we'll do in the follow-up paper is provide you with those answers so everyone has them accessible. Thank you, Tejas, for providing me with your email address. We'll be in touch with regards to getting a case study done with yourself. That'd be fantastic. Last call for any questions before we kind of conclude. But again, I'd just like to thank all of the delivery partners that have attended, and excellent presentations. I'm really confident in terms of the delivery, and especially Abdullah, who has really stepped up in terms of the project leader. Ibrahim, that wasn't able to join us, but Abdullah, who is an Yes participant who is now an apprentice administrator. Fantastic delivery, Abdullah. Should be really proud of yourself. Really well received. Really impressed in terms of how you was able to kind of step up. So again, thank you all for helping us out. Really good. But again, any feedback would be much appreciated. And I'll conclude the webinar there. Thank you all for attending. Please get in touch if you would like to find out more about the projects that we're running under Voluntary Action Leicestershire. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. You're free to leave the webinar now. I'll be ending the meeting shortly, and thank you so much for joining us, and do take care going forward in the new normal. Thank you.